I'm Jules. I brought you out again on my daily walk. I don't actually know where I'm going. I'm looking for inspiration for today's Bible passage, today's story. It's about the way to find God. I've climbed up Crow Hill. Some people used to think that getting up high brought you nearer to God because they thought he's up there somewhere. Don't know about that. But I do know you get a good view of Camborne from up here. And I know God's there. Can you see the part of Camborne that you live in? I've come down here before. It goes to the secret pond. I normally go that way, but today I'm going to go that way. I've never been that way before. I want to see where it goes. It's brought me out here. Those flats remind me of Wimpole Hall. Have you ever been to Wimpole Hall? It's a big house with lots of rooms. And in the story today, Jesus talks about his Father's house having lots of rooms and there being one for each of us. I hope my room's a bit more modern than the ones at Wimpole Hall. I wonder what your room might look like. And how do you get there? It looks like I'm all alone, but I'm not. In last week's video for YoungChurch, which isn't just for YoungChurch, you know, I mentioned how I see things when I'm out, and it always reminds me. It feels like somebody's tapping me on the shoulder. I'll show you. I see crosses up and across, and it always reminds me of Jesus, and it always reminds me I'm not alone, and Jesus is always with me, walking with me on my journey. I'm seeing lots of signs on my journey, showing me the way. In the passage today, Jesus says he is the way. This week we could look for signs. And each time you see a sign when you're out walking, you could stop and ask Jesus to show you the way to his Father's house. I love that our church is in central focus as you walk up the high street. When I first saw the church building finished, it reminded me of a big arrow pointing up towards God. But there's two more arrows, and they point out to the community and out towards us. And in the centre is Jesus. He is our way, our truth, and glistening in the sun today and every day. He is the light that leads our way to God, to God's house. Let's start how paddlers start their church with our welcome song. Sing up, paddlers, so voyagers know the words. After 3, 1, 2, 3. Welcome everyone to Camborne Church. Welcome everyone to Camborne Church. Welcome here to Camborne Church. You're welcome in the name of the Lord. Well done. Now, we've got to welcome Jesus as well, because that's the reason we're here. So, are you ready to say, you say after me, in my head and my heart and all around me, Jesus is here. Well done, beautifully said. Now, Jesus is here in my house here, in your house as well at the very same time, even though we can't see him. And also probably I've got a house here. Shall we have a look inside? Here we go, let's open it up. It's a doll's house. Do you have a doll's house? Let's see if we can have a good look inside. Yes, let's take a look inside. Can you see how the rooms are arranged? I think this is a bedroom. And there's for a little girl, maybe and her little brother. And there's a toilet, a mum and dad's bedroom. What have we got down here? We've got the kitchen. And here's mum and dad and the baby. Think about what's in each room. Who lives in this house? How many people could live here? In the story today, Jesus tells us his Father God has a big house, and in it is a room for each of us. Yes, that's right. In God the Father's house, there's a room for you and for me and for everybody who believes. Jesus tells us about it in the story today. I've got a story. Jesus said, in my Father's house there are many rooms. And I will prepare one for you. What do you think might be in your room? How will we get there? The disciples asked. And Jesus replied, I am the way, the truth, and the life. The way to God is through me. You have seen me, so you have seen God. I've got some drums. Maybe you could make a drum out of a box or a saucepan. Or if not, we can just clap our hands. And we're going to clap, Jesus, you will show us the way. So let's do that again. Jesus, you will show us the way. So we'll try that on the drums. Jesus, you will show us the way. 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 Have you noticed Jesus and the way are the same beat? That's because Jesus is the way. Jesus, you will show us the way. I've made some dough and I'm squidging it into making a long road. And I'm going to use this for my prayer today. Reminds me of the road in the story leading to God's house. Jesus is that road. Jesus is that way. We need to follow him. That means follow his example. So I'm going to pray. I'm going to walk along my road. Jesus, show us the way. Help us to follow you. Be our guide. Amen. And let's close with a blessing song. The Lord bless you. The Lord keep you. The light of his face shine on you. The Lord bless you. The Lord keep you. The light of his face shine on you. The Lord be gracious to you. The Lord be gracious to you. May he turn his face to you and bring you peace. May he turn his face